and I'm really passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. I really don't know what else to say there because that's what I'm trying to do, but I got to be real honest. I know a lot of you know this, but I have not been leading a very healthy or active lifestyle since I took a medication about a year and a half ago that just, I mean, nobody knew it was going to happen, of course, but it wiped me out. But that being said, I'm really determined to rebuild. And honestly, for somebody with my health circumstances, I'm extremely active. That doesn't take a lot, but it's the truth. Oh, and by the way, somebody asked me last week, well, why are you wearing a hat inside? Because I have a lot of headaches, and the light that I use to do these, I just some days I need it out of my eyes. I get part of the deal whenever I'm not feeling good, I get extremely light and sound sensitive. So in fact, I need to get moving because the light's driving me freaking crazy, even with the hat on. Um, this is an interesting topic to me, and it's one I like to cover because, first of all, it's really important. Our attitude really is everything. And it amuses me that I've become known as somebody with a really good attitude because honestly, I used to be such a horribly negative person. Excuse me. And confidence has been honestly, it's been a lifelong struggle for me. But ago, I ended up really overweight, severely depressed. And that's when my health issues first started. And I didn't know how to handle them. So at that time, I was a lot more upset about, I'm kind of giggling to myself. I was a lot more upset then than I am now. And I have a lot more health issues now. But I also know that my attitude has a tremendous impact on my health. And I am able to to roll with the punches a little easier, as they say. So this information, by the way, is from tinybuddha.com. Look, a positive attitude is it's crucial if you're dealing with health issues. I would argue it's crucial for everybody, but when you're up to hearing it every day, it is so easy to slide down into, I refer to it as sliding down into the darkness because it is dark and nothing good comes of that. And I had to learn the hard way how to pull myself out of that. So let's talk about it. The first thing you need to know, you are so much more powerful than you realize. All of us are. And we tend to fall into other people's expectations and we use that as kind of a guideline, but why? What do you want? Do you even know? Do you know first time I really sat down and tried doing goal setting? This is really sad to admit. I had no clue what I wanted. Absolutely none. And if I'm being honest, it's still something that I struggle to articulate, which is just so sad. But you know why I do that? Because I have limiting beliefs, because I don't always remember how powerful I am. But you know what? Truly, if you look back through your life and you look back with a more realistic and practical lens and not the self critical lens, you're probably going to realize you have done some amazing things in your life. You need to celebrate those. You need to hang your hat on your successes instead of your failures because it matters. It matters so much. And you need to drop your bullshit limiting beliefs. Like I used to tell people I'm just the secretary and worked with a gentleman one time. Well, I worked with him for several years, but he was really funny. He got so angry with me. Would you quit saying that? He said, look, I've got the title, but you run the show. We all know that. And he said, you're not just a secretary. And then he went on to tell me what a wonderful employee I was and how good I was to work with. And it was really nice. But I still struggle with the limiting beliefs. But we are powerful. Um, Side note, I really didn't plan on bringing this up. It's not in my notes. But, I realized that everybody has their own beliefs. And I'm not going to try to tell you what you should believe. But I will tell you that being positive and being more confident has been very tied to my faith for me. If you haven't found God, I'm not saying you got to do it. I just think you ought to check it out. Anyway, number two, you need to embrace life. If you want to have a positive attitude, you have to embrace your life because we have so many blessings. And you know what? The time is going to pass regardless, whether you're sitting here feeling sorry for yourself all the time, which, by the way, is very self fulfilling. Ask me how I know. Or if you decide, today's not the best day, but I still choose to focus on my blessings. I choose to be positive. I choose to, okay, I love to exercise and I've got health problems up to here and it makes it very difficult for me to exercise. Well, you know what? I embrace the hell out of the fact that I can still, even with all of my problems, I'm still capable of making that choice every day, whether I'm going to do some exercise or not. For me, that's embracing life, especially because what I do really makes me freaking happy. That's embracing life. You've got to focus on the blessings in your life. You've got to focus on the positive. Got to focus on your purpose. Number three, this is a tough one. I really struggle with this. I'm going to be honest, but you need to understand that you can control how you choose to respond. Excuse me. Now, obviously, you cannot control what goes on in the world around you, but you can control how you choose to respond. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Are you going to be pissed off all day? I used to be that person. Now, I'll be honest, I still get a little moment of, oh, you son of a, but you know what? What's the point? For one thing, you have no idea what's going on in that person's mind. Maybe they just got a phone call and they have a loved one who's sick or dying. Maybe their kids at home and something went wrong and they're racing home to find out what happened and to help their child. Maybe they just have to pee. I don't know, but my point is neither do you. So why on earth do we let little things like that? Why do we let that get to us? Control how you respond. Well, that guy's a jackass, but maybe they're just having a bad day. It's a lot better than the whole day on my way to work. That son of a, and a lot of people do that. I used to do that. I probably still do that sometimes if I'm honest. But you have to take that, just take a deep breath, and that gives you an emotional step back. And then instead of that gut reaction, oh, you son of a, you can take that, okay, that wasn't the nicest thing anybody's ever done, but how big of a deal is this going to be in an hour? You need to remember that what you believe internally, your internal beliefs become external facts. So what do I mean? Like, okay, one for me, I'm a very sensitive person, and I have to watch how I deal with that because I am a sensitive person. But when I used to say, well, I'm a crybaby, well, guess what? I cried a lot more. When I say, well, I'm a sensitive person, that changes that internal. I don't know if this is making any sense, but it changes that it's the same statement, but it's put in a more positive light, and that helps change my internal focus. I do cry way too easy. I hate it. It's embarrassing. But number four, if you want to be more positive, quit worrying about what other people think. Your opinion is the only opinion that needs to matter at the end of the day because nobody else is living your life. Nobody else is walking in your shoes. You are. You're the one that has to look at yourself in the mirror every day. You're the one that has to lay down with your thoughts at the end of the day. Quit worrying about what other people think. You can't control that. And frankly, what other people think, it's none of your business. It's not. And if they try to make it your business, just because you're invited to the play doesn't mean you need to sit down and enjoy the performance. You need to make sure. I actually just asked somebody this the other day and I never got an answer. So I hope they're thinking about it. But whatever your thing is that you tell yourself, where did that come from? Is that really your opinion? Or did you allow somebody else to hand you baggage and you just picked it up and carried it all these years? A good example, I used to have, and I realize, by the way, that what I'm about to say is very subjective, but I used to have I want to say the word friend because I really thought it was a friendship, but looking back, it was a horrifyingly toxic relationship pretty much the whole time. Um, but she used to make me feel so self-conscious about my legs. I'm a little bow-legged. But I have nice legs. They're well muscled. They're not a mile long, but I've got nice legs. I get a lot of compliments about them. But you know what? For years, I was so self-conscious and embarrassed about how my legs looked. And one of my girlfriends was like, "Are you kidding? Where the hell did you come up with that?" My point is, make sure whatever bullshit you're telling yourself, whatever you're beating yourself up about. I had somebody tell me the other day, "Well, I'm just a degenerate." Well, I don't know this person very well, but how I do know them, that statement really surprised me. And so I asked, "Where did you hear that?" Because I don't think most people would see you that way. They never answered. A lot of people don't want to do these answers because this stuff is hard. It's hard to look at yourself like this. But you need to stop worrying about what other people think. Don't let somebody drop a casual comment or several on you and pick it up as well, this is fact because that person said so. Who the hell is that person to define you? I mean, truly. I think I'm kind of going off the off target here a little bit, but um number 5, you want to have a more positive attitude. You need to understand that you are enough. You are enough. And if you ever feel that you're not enough, by whose measuring stick? Whose opinion are you allowing to influence you to that degree? Stop comparing yourself to other people. That's a big way to make sure that if you really want to feel like you're not enough, compare yourself to other people. Stop doing that. Look, you have no idea what's going on in somebody's life. You only know what they've chosen to share with you. And that's such a minuscule peek into what they're dealing with. You don't have any idea what's going on behind closed doors. You have no idea what kind of things they lay awake at night and worry about. A lot of times when we look on the surface of somebody's life, it looks amazing. But if you peel back just a couple of layers, you realize it's not. If you really have to, if you just have to compare yourself to other people, then compare yourself to people who are less fortunate than you, not so that you can be all high and mighty, but so you can remember that you have a hell of a lot to be grateful for. And for a long time, I was severely depressed, and my girlfriend Jennifer and I really need to reach out to her, but um, we're comfortable. We're both pretty positive, upbeat women, but we were comfortable enough with each other that our conversations would turn into just, frankly, just bitch fests. And we realized that one day, we're like, this is not a healthy thing. So we made ourselves a rule, and it was wonderful. And it really actually helped change my perspective as a whole. You could bitch as much as you wanted to, but you had to end it with 3 things you were grateful for. And for a long time, I was so depressed that my 3 things were: I have a roof over my head, I have running water, and I have electricity. Now, that might sound really basic, and it is. But do you ever stop and think about how many people on this planet don't have those things? If you have those 3 things, you are ahead of millions of people, and you need to be grateful for that. If when we're not grateful, that means by definition you always feel like you're lacking. Well, when you feel like you're lacking, then you feel like you're not enough. Look, most of this stuff, it's really just changing how you view it. I could, back to the exercise thing, I could easily focus on, well, you know what? I've been into fitness for this long and I should be able to do this, that, and the other. But you know what? I can't. So why focus on that? Instead, I focus on being grateful for all the things I can do. I'm grateful for the fact that I am, even on the worst, most challenging days, I'm still capable of getting out of bed. Do you know how many people can't even get the hell out of bed? And most of us take that for granted. You need a sense of gratitude. If you want to be more positive, you're going to have to be more grateful. It's just the way it goes. Excuse me, I have a cold because why not? Number 6, you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself enough to take a practical, a realistic look at yourself. You need to love yourself enough to set your fragile little ego aside and take a look at yourself and like, okay, these are all of my good qualities. Why don't I focus on this more? You need to understand that your happiness, it's never going to be external. Losing 50 pounds is not going to make you happy. Having $1 million tax free dropped into your lap, you might be a little more comfortable in your unhappiness, but that's not going to make you happy. The only thing at the end of the day that's going to make you happy is you and how you choose to view the world. But you have to love yourself enough to step into how you view the world. And you have to love yourself enough to let go of all the crap that you've been dragging around and telling yourself. Look, this shit's not easy to do, but I tell you what, I went from being severely depressed, very negative, and now I'm known, even though my health is horrible, I'm known as having a really good attitude. And for goodness sakes, if I can do that, anybody can. And I'll tell you what, it's worth it. It really is. Anyway, number 7, stay cool. When you give into your emotions, you're giving your power away. When you allow other people to impact how you go through your day, you've given them power over you. Don't do that. First of all, they're never worth it. Nobody deserves to have power over you. Nobody. But also, when you give up your emotions like that, and I say this as somebody who's very sensitive and does cry very easily, but I know when you're in I don't want to use the word confrontations, that sounds so negative, but I can't think of a better word right now. But sometimes you've got to have a confrontation. You've got to stand up for yourself. You have to set those boundaries. You have to stand firmly behind them. And if you cannot do that without losing your temper, without losing control of your emotions, you've lost the whole conflict. You've lost the argument. Think about it. When has anybody ever changed your mind by being a screaming maniac? He who cannot control his emotions always loses, always. So you have to stay cool. Finally, number 8, journey well. This is a journey. Life is a journey. And you know what? Life can be very ugly. Life can be hard. Life can be dark. But life is also beautiful and it's magical. Look at our planet. Look at all the beauty that we have, that God gave us to enjoy and to be grateful for and to appreciate. It's up to you. It's up to you how this journey is going to go. But we only have one shot. Why waste it being unhappy when being positive, really, at the end of the day, it's simply a choice. Anyway, I am going to go because this light is making me crazy. And I think I'm going to go actually put an ice pack on my neck for a while. So I don't know when I'll be back. I might come back Friday, but if nothing else, next Wednesday around the same time, 11-ish. I know I was really late this morning, 11-ish Alaska time. I hope y'all have a good one and I'll see you.